Before we get started with today's show, let me tell you about the Oxford Exxon Blue Sky there on Highway 6 West in Oxford. You saw it last night at the Pavilion, and you'll see it at Swayze Field throughout the season. The Stadium Cup that you can purchase, you keep it. Refill that thing for 49 cents at any Blue Sky location in Mississippi. So quench your thirst there with Blue Sky. Also pick up the lunch specials. $4.99 every single day, 2 sides bread, 32-ounce drink. Today's chicken and dressing in Oxford. So take advantage of that. And any rib order that you may like tonight on the way home, wet or dry, call ahead or just pick up if you so desire. Also coming to you from the Clark Ford Studios, 662-257-1900 there in Amory, Mississippi on Highway 25 South. You know, you can give Corey a call. He'll get you a quote within 15 minutes, and, you know, you can tell him about the podcast and save $500 in the process, too. Off your deal there at Clark Ford. He'll make it happen. It'll even bring it to you, if necessary, wherever you are. So, again, Clark Ford Studio, Clark Ford in Amory, 662-257-1900. Now on with the show.
From the Clark Ford Studio in Oxford, Mississippi, MBW Digital proudly presents the Oxford Exxon Podcast.
I'd say thanks for tuning in, but why am I going to give you a round of applause for something that you're supposed to do, to be frank?
And now, here are your hosts, Chase Parham.
And broadcast school has really paid off.
And Neal McCready.
I deserve to be on TV.
Thursday edition of the Oxford Exxon Podcast. Chase Parham, Neal McCready, Clark Ford Studio this morning. Obviously, a lot of basketball today. Ole Miss coming off a 73-71 defeat to Tennessee last night at the Pavilion. Neal and myself were both there. We'll talk about that a good bit today. We'll have Jeffrey join us and really kind of break down the basketball portion of that game last night as well. Got a couple baseball topics I want to throw out. And then there will be more coverage of spring football later today at rebelgrove.com as well. Had a lot of content the last 2 days, so if you missed any of it, just go check it out. It is all there. We will get on with the show. At least it was a 6 o'clock tip last night. Everybody's a little more refreshed and prepared versus the 8 that's coming with Kentucky next week. But,
the 8 o'clock.
It's going to be a late one next Tuesday night.
Wednesday morning is going to be rough.
Think so?
Yeah.
All right.
Our alarm goes off at 5:30.
So we're going to get tons of basketball coming up with Jeffrey, and we're going to talk the game, too. We're going to kind of talk what it means. We'll deep dive a little more than we've already taped the part with Jeffrey, just for spoiler alerts. Let's start here, though, because it's the only part – it's a couple parts that I have more, knowledge of coming in, and it's what most people are it's kind of half and half. People were talking about press conferences and officiating this morning. That's kind of where we are right now with – a little bit of the actual game in the middle, it feels like, from Twitter and the message board and the internet world and all that stuff. I don't know what Twitch is talking about. I haven't been over there today. So, League of Legends or something, Call of Duty. So I walked into the arena last night and got into the media room, and a bunch of people I don't recognize was kind of my first thought, and went over, talked to a couple of different people, and they said, hey, so-and-so's here, so-and-so's here, and so-and-so's here. And there was a general feeling that no matter what happens in a minute, even if it's very positive for Ole Miss, it's going to overtake a press conference in a couple hours. And it was the New York Times, it was the Ringer, the Bill Simmons vehicle, and then ESPN last night. And they were all there and made it very known it was about kneeling and it was about the societal stuff from Saturday. Ole Miss does not kneel during the national anthem. They all stood. The video is on rebelgrove.com if you'd like to go check it out, or our YouTube channel where we'd like you to subscribe. It's free. And they didn't do anything. Yes,
please subscribe to the YouTube channel. Just subscribe. That's all you have to do.
You hit a button.
And
that's
it won't cost you anything.
Just hit a button.
You'll help us a little bit.
Yeah, just hit a button. So the story should have been over right there. They don't kneel. It's clearly, hey, imagine this. About what they said it was about. I know that's a foreign concept, but okay, we move on. It is what it is. I've been in some pretty uncomfortable press conferences in my life. Last night wasn't necessarily uncomfortable. It was more annoying than uncomfortable as I watched the video. I did not stay. Full disclosure, had they won the game, I probably would have written something, and the way it ended, I left. Full disclosure. But I watched the video last night, and beating the dead horse over and over and over and over again, terrible media look because they had their answer, but you could see it was a clear, whomever, whether it was bosses or whatever, agenda toward a story where, by God, they needed an answer to the point of, frankly, trying to bait into that answer multiple times. And then on the second line, props to the Ole Miss players on being very careful there, being honest, and not kind of stepping into one, because when you got media throwing at you stuff like that, it would be very easy to get disgruntled, to get a little freaked out, and to slip up at somewhere. So, a lot of times we kind of just sort of let however the kids answer questions pass. I thought the players and everybody did a pretty good job last night of managing that, and even kind of bailing Kermit out of having to answer some things that, in a way that no matter what he says, could be taken in a misconstrued fashion.
Two things I found interesting. So the two guys that Ole Miss brought to the press conference were Bruce Stevens and Terrence Davis. Terrence did not kneel on Saturday. Bruce did. Bruce kneeled to show support to his friend Devontae Shuler. Terrence was on the other end, closest to the coaches, and he didn't kneel because which told me two things. Either A, he didn't want to, or B,
he didn't.
And I think this is more likely. Now, it could be A and B, by the way, but the B thing is critical here. I don't think he knew, which tells me that they didn't talk about it beforehand, which is what they've told us. Kermit Davis and Ross Bjork on Saturday. See, this, ladies, national media guys, we actually reported. We really did. I know that we're a fan site, we're just a bunch of homers. That's why, it's why I wore my red and blue. This is why, all jokes aside, this is why, oh God, I'm going to piss people off today, I'm sorry. This is why media relations people should have a rule. There should be a dress code on reporters. You can't wear school gear. The whole damn media corps gets lumped into something, and nobody has any credibility. And so even though legitimate media people reported the truth on Saturday, no one believed it.
You're 100% right there. I'm not. This is not devil's advocate. This is kind of parlaying another thought to this. Is it that, or is as much as anytime there's any of this society stuff, so a lot of these national editors get their rocks off so hard,
so fast,
that it is, by God, we are sending people and we are writing this story because it is all freedom fighting.
It's that too. It's absolutely that too. So what you saw though in that press conference was a lot of things. Absolute, because it's the truth. There is no way to trap these guys into an answer because the true answer is.
And I don't mean trapping an answer. I mean, at some point, Bruce Stevens going, screw you.
Yeah. But you're right. They were trying to trap them.
Yeah.
But there is no trap because it was about what happened on campus on Saturday. It was a reaction to all of the build-up to that. There was a lot of angst in Oxford and on that campus for at least a week, more like 2 weeks, but certainly in that week, there was a lot of angst. I'm mad at myself to this day that I thought about it, but I forgot to write about. We're not that far removed. You and I always talk about news cycles. The news cycle goes so freaking fast that we forget stuff. We're not that far removed from Charlottesville.
A campus that's pretty similar. Been there.
Yeah, we're not far removed.
A very similar environment in Charlottesville, Virginia to Oxford.
Yes. We're not far removed from Charlottesville. And there was a fear that of parents, of citizens, of locals, of students, of faculty. What happens? Does some guy come out with the machine gun? Guys, there's mass shootings in this country all the time. Does someone take a big pickup truck or a like they did in France and just run over 70 people? What happens? People were scared. They knelt to show their disgust at what was going on 250 yards away. That's what it was. That's what it was. But to your point, these national media, these I'm trying not to get political here because I'm all over the place politically.
But that's kind of what it is. It was a determination that if we can just get one quote or one little niblet that this had to do with something bigger than what they say it was about, or if we can figure out that it just had something to do with the national conversation, then we got not just a story, but then a story I can spin off of, and I can have 15 stories.
Yes.
And I can really go, hey, this justifies and proves A, B, C, D to Z.
Now who's next? Which team is next?
Yeah.
Is this going to take over the NCAA tournament? Is this going to?
Yeah, right.
Is this going to? Oh, here we go. And it's not that. It's not that. Does that mean there's no police brutality? Of course not. Of course there's police brutality. Does that mean that everything is racially equal? Of course not. But Oxford is a great target because of what happened. But guys, it happened in the Kennedy administration. It's been a minute. It's been a little while.
Yeah.
We've run through some presidents since then. The campus is kind of different now than it was then. Is Ole Miss a perfectly racially harmonious place? No, but guess what? No place is.
Yeah, there isn't one.
I talked about this with Ed yesterday. Everyone keeps talking about what a racist place Ole Miss is and what a racist place Oxford is. And is there racism in Oxford? Yeah, sure. Is there racism at Ole Miss? Absolutely. Pick a town, name a town, any town. I'll tell you what, there's racism there. And it's not always, and I'm about to get politically incorrect, it's not always white on black. Sometimes it's black on white. Sometimes it's white on Hispanic. Sometimes it's Hispanic on black. Sometimes it's Hispanic on white.
You know, it's every ism in every town in America.
Yes.
It's sexism. It's racism.
Yes.
It's against ethnicities. It's
Yes.
everything.
Yes.
Humans are fallible, amazingly.
Whoa, really?
Yeah. Shocker.
You twitch, bro. Yeah.
I know. I twitch.
No, you're right. Of course. And so what you saw in that press conference was we came all the way down here. I got editors back at home, and they want clicks, man. Because nothing gets clicks like race. Nothing gets the national media fired up like race.
Well, and it's what's funny about this because they all converged, and I kind of saw it last night, and I'm sitting there and just kind of thinking, and we've talked a little bit about this over the years. Look, yeah, Oxford has its problems, but it's kind of an oasis in the middle of just kind of everything else. It's a pretty intelligent town for the most part. It's a melting pot because of the university. You have a lot of different views. It's not. I mean, they voted left in elections. If you just look at Lafayette County and Oxford and different things. I mean, there's a lot of different things. And Ole Miss, to this day, I mean, I've seen it, and I'm pretty ingrained. Ole Miss tries so hard to rid itself of the past in so many different ways that, if anything, it's one of the least racist places ever, and is almost apologetically trying to avoid any controversy whatsoever. I mean, look, I want to keep this in context because 1962 was terrible. Don't get me wrong.
Of course.
Context, people.
Of course.
A lot of the things that happened in the past has made Ole Miss better today than it would have been maybe without those things even. I think there is such a focus on those topics in Oxford. Is it perfect? No. Long way to go? Sure. But I do think compared to other places relatively, there's such a focus on those topics that in a lot of ways there's been such a level of improvement that it's almost sort of better for it in a way if you look at it strictly from that lens.
Yeah, I know what you're saying. Sure.
You're not saying it's justified. You're just saying
not.
it's
of course not.
different.
No one says, hey, we either have a riot or no riot. Which one do we have? Well, let's have the riot.
A lot of things, Oxford and university related, they go out of their way to go beyond the societal norm when it deals with a lot of those topics.
Yes. No question.
We'll go the other way just to make sure. Because they know it's such a lightning rod. Any little bitty, you got to be really careful.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So, yeah, it was just, I thought it was, annoying is the word I keep coming back to last night as I watched it. I was just sort of annoyed.
Yeah, I mean, I was tired of it. I kept looking at my clock going, 13 minutes of this? What else is there to talk about? I've had people go, why didn't you ask a question? Because there's nothing to ask. I wasn't going to be the guy that's, okay, let's get back to basketball. I had my basketball answers. I know what I saw. That wasn't the place to go, so Kermit, you guys go to Arkansas on Saturday, you beat them here. I mean, hey, what do you do? I mean, I knew that story was going to be reported. I knew they were watching it.
And they asked for 2 other players and didn't get them, right?
They wanted Devontae Shuler, and they wanted Breon Tyree, and they both declined interview requests. Okay. And some of that, as Breon was, I'm sure, and you saw it in his tweet.
How the game.
Absolutely heartbroken about the free throw. And Devontae was literally sick on the floor.
Yeah, I saw that.
When it ended.
I like Breon to have a pretty big game Saturday.
I think this team's going to close strong.
Yeah, that's you mentioned this with Jeffrey a little bit, and I just kind of around last night, and I hadn't been to a ton of basketball games, and I went to some as a student, seen some with Tad Pad, seen a little bit of everything. It had a huge big game environment to it last night, where you talked about this with Jeffrey for a minute, but. And I commented to a friend last night that in a lot of ways it's still kind of, and it's the credit to Ole Miss. I don't mean, it is what it is. It's just when you went to college and Tad Smith, you still kind of look at the pavilion occasionally. And I think you have to kind of remind yourself a couple times that it's on the Ole Miss campus, if that makes sense, because it's so nice. They've done such a good job with different things. You kind of go, hey, this is just a college basketball game on a campus.
Yeah.
And last night, even though there was tons of Tennessee fans, but it created a little more of an environment. I just thought, this is not what you built it for, but this is what you're trying to get. This is the thing.
No, it's what you built it for.
Yeah, I mean, this is the goal. This is it. I mean, it was a nationally televised game featuring one of the top 5 teams in the country, however you want to classify them. Sure. And it came down to the last 2 minutes. And you didn't win the game, but just there was basketball for years. I mean, Andy Kennedy would laugh at this and nod his head with me. Has been behind baseball from a fan standpoint. Baseball's been 2, basketball's been 3, because A, they win, and B, you can drink.
Yeah.
In whatever order you want to make that out to be, depending on who you are. Those are the reasons.
Yeah.
And right now, basketball.
They invested in baseball.
Stage. Yeah, basketball has become fun.
Yeah.
This year, to credit to Kermit, credit to those kids, basketball has become fun around here where, frankly, it's a tough ticket.
And credit to Ross Bjork and all the people. Everybody always gets criticized over there, and sometimes they deserve it. Credit to the people who designed and built, and Andy Kennedy, too.
Yeah.
I mean, oh, God. Oh, that's going to light them up. The people who were behind the building of this program, of that building.
Yeah.
The people who said, this is what it needs to be. It's a long list. It's Ross. I'm going to leave people out. It's Keith Carter. It's Michael Thompson. It's Andy Kennedy. It's the people who raised the money.
Yeah.
It's
a $100 million building.
It's a lot of people. And I'm going to tell you, they did a fantastic job. I mean, I can't think of a flaw to it, honest to God. It's great.
Yeah, because Ole Miss, now look, there's still, there are things you've got to figure out from a program standpoint to get better players and all that. That's not my conversation I'm happening. But I do think there are a lot of things in place, and last night shows you that, win. I mean, Ole Miss is not 28-3. It's not like, hey, you got to go win and be a 2 seed.
Right.
But if you're in the conversation, you're going to fill it up. Tad Smith in the early 2000s, late 90s was full. Every single dang game, it was full. It was a crazy, weird environment at that place for those kids. Fans will show, and Ole Miss does have the ability, as do most SEC schools, to not just be, hey, you're the 14th program in the league, but to really shoot up and kind of make the middle fun, where it's not just, hey, we're waiting on baseball season. Hey, we're waiting on this. We're doing this. Where basketball can actually become an event. And the pavilion is such a huge part of that, because it's an arena people want to go to. They've done a good job with premium seating, and I'm not talking about cameras, just in general, premium seating. Everybody kind of has something there to make their own.
Right.
And that has created so much more of a program when you get it coupled with a little bit of energy and a little bit of winning. That last night was the first time I kind of looked around and went, yeah, I get it. I get it now. Because I told you coming in, I said, the environment, even from a music, from the way they've kind of cut in, because again, I hadn't been to a lot, but somebody made the comment to me last night and said, well, they stopped a lot of those games every break and stuff, and now it's just, hey, get them pumped up, throw some music in everybody likes. And
broke out some Quiet Riot last night, and it was awesome.
Yeah.
It was awesome. I was like, they're figuring it out.
Yeah, so there was something that last night, I mean, again, I don't want to be hyperbolic, but there was sort of hey, basketball's kind of arrived again. And last night was the first time I felt that.
You're not being hyperbolic?
Yeah.
It was a big-time arena. It was a big-time atmosphere. It was.
Yeah.
Listen, that was college basketball. That's why I tell people all the time, and I said it in the interview with Jeffrey, will be a little repetitive. It's, in terms of sports, it's the best spectator sport there is. Mm-hmm. You're right there.
And it's quick.
It's quick. It's 2 hours, you're done.
Well, I mean, on the
floor.
But
it's fast-paced, but it's 2 hours and you're done. You go to a football game, and you might be there for 4 hours.
Yeah, your highs are higher, but it doesn't.
You go to a baseball game. Baseball's a completely different deal.
Yeah, you got to like baseball to go to baseball.
Or you got to be out in the outfield and you're having a few beers and the game's.
You like the weather or the sport when you go to baseball.
Yeah, and you go. I mean, I've said this many, many times. Mike's done oh my God, incredible job of building a program. I'm not talking about Omaha. I'm talking about the program. Where, hey, it's Saturday. Honey, you want to go to the game? Yeah. Who are we playing?
I don't
know.
Yeah.
What's the score? I don't know. Sun's out. I'm on my third Bud Light.
Yeah.
I'm good.
Yeah.
The kids are down there playing.
Yeah. They're safe.
They're fine. Good. Not getting hurt. They're going to be exhausted when we get home.
Yeah.
It's all good. It's fun. And there's something there for the guy that's the hardcore baseball fan because it's pretty good baseball. Yeah. College baseball as a product's gotten better. Yeah. SEC basketball is good. Last night was perfect. It was a Tuesday night. Wednesday night is at 6 o'clock. People could get there. And it was great. It was the environment was.
I fought the crowd, left when the game was over, didn't leave early, and I was in my house by 8:40.
Yeah.
Standing in my door at 8:40.
It was terrific. And if you're Ole Miss from a program standpoint, last night did it go as well as you wanted it to go? No, because if you win, the lead to my column was going to be the kind of thing that people were going to be excited about. You were going dancing.
Yeah, I guess the thing here is, look, you're probably still going dancing. You just got to figure it out. You can't let this beat you 4 times. But as long as they bounce back, they're fine. And last night, it showed you a lot. Don't miss the big picture because of the small thing from last night is what we're saying.
Here's the thing now. Kermit knows beyond a shadow of a doubt that he can bring prospects to games. I'm not turning this into an Andy thing. I'm tired of the conversation. I'm not going to do it anymore. This is an absolute fact.
Mm-hmm.
With Mike White and Andy Kennedy and all those guys when they were on that staff together. They had Mike White, Bill Armstrong, and Andy Kennedy on the same staff. Pretty good staff. They didn't feel comfortable bringing recruits to games. It's a joke, and Andy makes it funny and stuff, but kids would come to campus on visits and say, I want to see the arena. And they'd be like, we'll get to the arena. We'll get there. Hang on, let me show you the mall they're building out at the old high school first. It's a joke, and everybody giggles and laughs, except for the fact that it's true.
Yeah.
Now, when you bring a kid to campus, when Kermit brings a kid to campus, he goes, I can coach. Look what I do. Here's where you'll play. And this is what it feels like.
Mm-hmm.
It's different. Last night, trust me, was a good night for your program.
Yeah, no doubt. We'll go to Jeffrey in 1 minute. Before we do that, I'll tell you about Scripted Jewelry. ScriptedJewelry.com. Just go to the website. All you got to do is check it out. You'll find something there for you to give that special someone. Sizing guides, lookbooks, frequently asked questions, and even showing you what was recently purchased to give you ideas. Personalize those gifts with your script. John Hancock, the special message to make it unique. And when you check out, you can save money in the process. Rebels10, REBELS 10 in that promo code box, and you'll save 10% with rebelgrove.com by heading on over, pick out your favorite, and get it from scriptedjewelry.com.
Podcast also brought to you in part by John Edwards, Regency Travel Incorporated in Memphis. If you've been thinking about your summer trip, whether it's some extravagant golf trip to England or Scotland, or whether it's just a trip to the beach, or anything in between, get in touch with John. He's part of Virtuoso. It's a worldwide network of travel partners that allows John to supply his clients with added values and unique benefits that are simply not available to other travelers. What you do is you call him and you give him parameters. You give him a budget. He'll give you options that you'd never find on your own. And he does great work. We've had a lot of people use him. Everyone's been very excited. So if you're thinking about a vacation, give him a shot. 901-494-3387. Jay Edwards at regencytravel.net. First-time clients save $50 off their first booked trip just by telling John you heard about Regency Travel on the podcast. We're also brought to you by Grenada Nissan. If you're in the market for a Nissan vehicle, Grenada Nissan's the place to go. It's just off Interstate 55 in Grenada, Mississippi. They have a complete selection of new and previously owned Nissan vehicles. Go in, test drive one today. Tell Gene and Sandy that you heard about Grenada Nissan on the podcast at rebelgrove.com, and you'll save. You'll have Rebel savings on top of the already great deals at Grenada Nissan. We're also brought to you by Harry Alexander. Harry is an Oxford-based RE/MAX Legacy Realty agent. He's been in Oxford more than 4 decades. No one knows the residential and condo market in Oxford better than Harry. Go to his site. He'll prove it to you, harryalexander.com. Click on the Properties and Neighborhoods tab. Filter through by what you're looking for. Then send him an email, ha@harryalexander.com. And we're brought to you by Oxford University Bank, OUB, locally owned and operated right here in Oxford. When you deposit money at OUB, that money and the vast majority of the bank's profits go right back into the Oxford community. OUB gives you the comfort of home, all the benefits the big mega banks provide, all the technology and products you can want, all with the personal touch. What they also give you is a commercial checking account that's now paying 1% interest as long as you keep $10,000 in the account. It comes with fully interactive online banking. They can also set up any local business to deposit checks from their office and not have to worry with coming to the bank daily to deposit those checks. To learn more about OUB, to learn more about Casasa, to learn more about the commercial checking account, go to liveoxfordbankoxford.com or call 662-234-6668. OUB is FDIC insured.
G&M Pharmacy, they're on South Lamar in Oxford. You know they deliver locally to your home or workplace. You can transfer your medications easily just by giving them a call, 662-236-2222. Don't get stuck with the big chains. Go to someone who will know you and care. And now they're offering a CBD oil that is pharmaceutically graded. It has Sirius trying to talk to me, apparently. Anyway, moving on. It has been known to help different customers, patients, whatever you'd like to call it, with several different conditions, including depression, anxiety, pain, insomnia, and more. Studies show that 43% of CBD users stopped using traditional medicines and use cannabis instead. You're not going to get the side effects that you're worried about. It's going to be all right. Give it a shot. Maybe you want to give them a call and find out more information. You can do that by calling them at 662-236-2222. Now, Jeffrey Wright on the Patterson-Earhart Hotline. Jeffrey, good morning on this Thursday. Obviously, the topic of the day, Ole Miss basketball, coming off the 1-point loss to Tennessee last night in Oxford. I know you watched a good bit of it. I have not gone back through all the text in a group that you and I are both in, but either the end of the game, the beginning of the game, I'll kind of let you lead. What sort of your overall takeaways from last night?
Yeah, I thought the most, and I'm curious to hear Neil's perspective. I thought the toughest call that went against Ole Miss was, I think it was Henson's fourth foul. There was one where he did not initiate contact. He got called for the foul. I thought that one was bad. I'll admit, man, I thought it was a charge. Now, I will also say, in terms of a basketball play, that's a very dumb play if you're Tennessee, because you allow, like, if you notice in-game situations, like almost every guy just puts his hands up, like he stands almost stationary, puts his hands up because they know they don't want to foul. Like when you put yourself in the position that, was it Williams? I think it was Williams.
No, it was Admiral Schofield.
That he put himself in. Sorry, Schofield. That you put yourself in, that Schofield put himself in, like, you allow the official to blow his whistle and to make a call. Like, and I thought it was a charge.
Yeah, it was a charge. It absolutely was a charge. It was dumb, as you said. I mean, it's extravagantly dumb of Schofield to put himself in that spot.
It's not a good basketball play, but I did think it was a charge. I I thought Schofield was set. It was in charge. The over the back was a weird one because when they showed it from the main camera that they used, that's located somewhere between the rafters and the last row, it definitely looks like an over the back. But then when they showed it from that camera that they have right behind the goal, you can see Williams goes straight up. He gets basketball first, and then Schuler comes crashing in. And so, like, when you put it up, like, when you speed it up, like, I just don't know, man. Like,
but here's the thing.
Williams has a...
Not to interrupt, that play had no bearing on the outcome of the contest.
No, here's what the game came down to. Breon Tyree had 2 free throws to essentially put the game on ice. He missed the front end. Like,
yeah, and I'll go further than that. And this is where I'm curious to get your thoughts. Ole Miss started the second half very poorly. Tennessee got off to that 13-2 run, and then Ole Miss dominated the game. I'm sorry?
I don't know what it is, but Ole Miss started both halves extremely poorly.
Yeah, but they came back and they kind of dominated the mid portion of the second half. Really completely dominated it. I'm trying to find the numbers here. But regardless, Ole Miss takes a lead. They had a Bruce Stevens got a tip in. Terrence Davis missed a jumper, and Stevens tipped it in. 5:51 left to give Ole Miss a 66-63 lead. Ole Miss finished the game with 71 points. That means for the last basically 6 minutes, Ole Miss scored 5 points. So when you go and you look at those possessions, and I'm not going to bore people with this, but this is where the game was lost. Stevens missed a jumper. Stevens had a turnover. Tyree had a turnover. Tyree had another turnover. I'm looking. Terrence Davis missed a 3. Breon Tyree missed a jumper. Ole Miss screamed foul on that play, and frankly, I thought he got fouled. But I mentioned that to go here. I'm going to make people mad today. I know I am, and I'm not trying to, but I've got a lot to say about it. You can't, in those moments, begin to lose your composure. And I thought Ole Miss, right around this spot, started losing its composure a little. So
yes,
Tyree misses.
Chase would have scrolled. If Chase would have scrolled up into that. If Chase would have scrolled up into that group chat, there would have been around this point that you're saying, like, there's me specifically saying Ole Miss might want to have a possession where they do something. Like, it felt like they were trying to run out the clock with 6 minutes left.
Now, on the flip side,
they played into Tennessee's hands.
On the flip side, they were playing great defense at this point because Tennessee's not scoring either. But then Tennessee gets to within 67-66 on Williams' jumper. Ole Miss comes back, hits a 3. I'm sorry, Tennessee took a 67-66 lead. Tyree hit a 3 with 2:40 to go to make it 69-67 Ole Miss. That was their last field goal of the game at 2:40. After that, they had they fouled Schofield. He made 1 of 2. Henson missed a 3-pointer that frankly was a bad shot selection.
A horrific look.
Yeah.
Now, he took that with the unbridled confidence that absolutely took my breath.
Yeah, I mean,
that was a step back that looks coming out of the hand, and then it hits the backboard, like almost breaks the backboard. Like, that was breathtaking.
Yeah, I tweeted that it shows you, and I've always said this about this kid, and I think it's a great thing. I think he and Buffin are going to be stars. I think they're going to be stars in this league. I truly do. If you told me that in 2 years Buffin and Henson are having the kind of impact at Ole Miss that Williams and Schofield have had at Tennessee, I buy it completely. He has neither one of those kids have any fear. They have no hesitation. They have utter confidence, and they'll build on that. But at that spot, in that moment, up 2 with the ball, that's not That's not a good possession. Up one with the ball, that's not a good possession. So he misses that one with 50 seconds left. Stevens misses a jumper. I can't remember whether that was a good shot or not. I do remember it was a really good shot. They made an extra pass. He got a wide open look and he missed it.
He got like a 12-footer, and actually I think that was the one where Schuler made just a ridiculous play to go up and get the rebound.
That's exactly right. Schuler gets the rebound right there.
They only had 4 team fouls, I think, at that point, they being Tennessee, and Schuler thought he was going to the line, and then they're like, hey guys, they still got to foul twice.
Yeah, Schuler gets the rebound. Here's a call that if Ole Miss wins the game, Tennessee's screaming about it. He walked. They missed it. After the rebound, he walked, and they missed it.
Yeah.
So 50 seconds left. Now you're getting into the meat of the game. They fouled him. Then they had another foul with 41 seconds, a foul with 40 seconds. And then Ole Miss, again, my boy Blake Hinson, Ole Miss starts the possession with about 38 seconds left. And my boy Blake Hinson, instead of running 30 seconds and taking a shot, my boy Blake Hinson goes for the kill shot. And gets fouled by Grant Williams, misses the dunk because Grant Williams got his money's worth on the foul. And my boy Blake Hinson goes to the line.
He wasn't going to get post tries like his teammate did in the first half.
Yeah. My boy Blake Hinson goes to the line, and there's not a doubt where the ball's going. He's making them.
Yeah, no, like at first, I thought, man, there's no chance these are going in, right? And then he gets up there. The first one was like money, and then the second one didn't even touch anything but the net.
So 71-68 at this point, Ole Miss, and Tennessee comes down, and Jordan Bowden hits the shot of the game. It's the shot of the game. It's what we do in journalism. We talk about the last shot, and that's the biggest shot. Because Ole Miss defended him. Terrence Davis played his best defensive game of his career last night. And he's all over him. He extends his arm, almost blocks the damn shot, and Jordan Bowden makes a bucket right there to make it 71-70. If he misses that shot, it's a rebound. You come down, you make a free throw, and the game's over. And then we get into the Tyree stuff. Tyree misses a free throw that I posted on the board. He's a great kid. I love the kid. He's one of the most fun kids to cover. He's respectful. He gives great answers. He's a smart kid. He cares. All of those things. But when he misses the front end, it opens the door for Tennessee.
Yeah, and then on top of that, I actually thought on the shot that Grant Williams made, I thought they played good defense on that. Kid made a great shot.
The SEC Player of the Year made a shot, and Stevens actually defended him pretty well. Give Tennessee credit. They went to their money guy. In the last minute of the game, they hit 2 difficult field goals, and Ole Miss didn't. And that's your ball game. And then the Schuler play at the end. I don't know whether Kermit had a timeout left or not. It's so hard to make anything happen in 4 seconds.
He did, but I was actually cool with him not calling it because they got a free run at it.
Yeah.
They didn't get to set their defense. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I would have rather had Barnes. I think Barnes should have called timeout. I don't remember if they had one or not, but if Tennessee had a timeout, Tennessee should have called timeout.
Yeah, they didn't want to though, because Barnes was pointing. They had a play ready to go, and I know Ole Miss had one because Kermit said last night had Brian made the free throws, they were going to call timeout there and set up a defense because they were going to be in that weird no man's land where what do you do here? You're up 3, but there's still about 19 seconds left. It's a little early to foul, but you want to make sure they don't make a three-pointer.
Yeah, like I said, to me, I did not think it was a well-officiated game. I don't also feel like there was some grand conspiracy to protect Tennessee. I thought Ole Miss had multiple opportunities to win the game. They didn't. But you can also look at it big picture. That's a team that has spent weeks ranked number 1 in the nation. That is a legitimate national title contender.
Yes.
That is a team that jumped up on Ole Miss twice. They jumped up on them at the start of the game and the start of the second half. Ole Miss fought back and spent a large portion of the game really controlling it, but they didn't figure out a way to close the deal. Now, like, I'm not gonna sit there and crucify them over that, because that was the proverbial Neal McCready free shot game. Like,
It
that
absolutely
and Kentucky
was.
are the free shot.
Yeah.
The games that matter the most to me for Ole Miss coming down the stretch: Saturday at Arkansas and then next Saturday at Missouri. Those are the 2 games. If you win those, I don't really think you're even going to have to worry about what happens at the SEC tournament.
You're in.
But like that's what it comes down to. Like, this was an opportunity to maybe, instead of being an 8 or 9 seed, if you could have won that game, maybe you go up a line, the 7, or if enough things fall in your favor, maybe you can get to the 6. But I don't think you were going to get much higher than that. But like, that was all to me last night mattered. And again, I watching the game, I just felt like that was a classic college basketball game. I think the other problem college basketball has is no 2 games, it feels like to me, are officiated the same. Like, there's got to be something in terms of uniformity that can help. But I mean, at the end of the day, hey, there's 40 college Division I teams, and they're all using the same pool of officials. Like, I get it.
Take a break in our talk with Jeffrey about Blow Dry Bar Oxford, 662-638-3310. If you'd like to send him an email, you can do that at theblowdrybar@gmail.com, 1801 Jackson Avenue, 10 to 6, Tuesday to Friday, Saturday 10 to 3. And as we've been telling you, they were voted Best New Business in Oxford for 2018. Get the ever-popular blowout for that someone special, or if you're one of the 4%ers listening, go in and treat yourself. A lot of different options to take care of you, including keratin treatment, spray tan things, and plenty of different hair care options for you with Blow Dry Bar. And you mentioned rubbergrove.com, get a gift card, even get a discount in the process. So plenty of ways to take care of you. 662-638-3310.
Jeffrey Wright and all other guests join us on the Patterson and Earhart hotline. Patterson and Earhart, attorneys at law, specialize in personal injury law and real estate law, but theirs is a general practice that can help handle any of your legal needs. When you contact Patterson and Earhart, you speak to one of the partners in the firm, and that's who will handle your case, not some paralegal at a faceless corporate firm. If Patterson and Earhart can't help you, they'll refer you to someone who can. John Calvin Patterson and Wes Earhart are Ole Miss guys. They're local guys, and when you call them, you're going to get one of them on the phone within the same day, guaranteed. So whether you've been injured in a car wreck or have other legal issues, give them a call, 662-526-1992, or check out their website, pelaws.com. Your initial consultation is free. We're also brought to you by Home 2 Suites, Oxford. If you're coming to Oxford next week to watch Ole Miss, Kentucky, coming for some baseball series here in the spring, coming for the Grove Bowl, coming for double-decker, or if you're starting to really get serious about the Ole Miss football season, looking for a home base for the 2019 football season, call 662-238-3400. You won't regret it. It's Home 2 Suites, Oxford. It's just off the Old Taylor Road campus. Old Taylor Road exit, about a mile from campus, I should say. It's just an ideal location for your Ole Miss sporting needs. And great hotel, great amenities. It's pet-friendly. Get in touch with them, 662-238-3400.
Now back to Jeffrey Wright on the Oxford Exxon podcast.
Yeah, officials get tired this time of year. The game was not officiated well. It was not officiated consistently. Tennessee plays very physical defense. They have a reputation for that. So the reputation lets them get away with some calls. I mean, if you're Ole Miss and you really want to bitch about officiating, I think the thing you go to is you say, how in the second half, with less than a minute left, did Tennessee only have 4 fouls? There's your argument. Now, you want to make that argument? Okay, now I'm listening. But you want to talk about the last minute and did Grant Williams travel? Look, Did Grant Williams travel? He might have kind of traveled. Nobody's calling that on anybody right there, and nobody's calling that on the SEC Player of the Year in that spot. No one's calling that. And if you expect that call, then you
also make the argument that he got fouled before he took the third step. Like, I don't, you know what I mean?
They weren't going to call anything right there. And you know what? As a guy who watches a lot of basketball, I don't want them to call anything picky right there. Play the game. You want them to play the game. And I thought they kind of let them play. It's just gotta hate doing this because, man, I couldn't make that free throw. But if Brian makes the front end, it's a different game. Even if Brian misses the back end of that free throw, it's a different game. But you have to make the front end there. And I wrote this in 10 observations last night. There's a little premonition of this on Saturday against Georgia when Brian missed the front end. Up one, he missed
got the stop.
Georgia missed the shot. Georgia doesn't have a Grant Williams. And Ole Miss defended the hell out of it that day. And Ole Miss defended the hell out of Tennessee last night. I think if you're looking at this from an Ole Miss perspective, to me, the overreaching things are, number one, wow, the pavilion was awesome last night. It was great. I mean, the atmosphere was fantastic. It's a beautiful arena. The place was full. It was rowdy. It was fun. The fans were into it. Basketball is a great it might not be a better spectator sport than basketball. And that arena is built perfectly for it. And Ole Miss should be excited. If that's a glimpse of your future, you're going to start being in position to land fun recruits because that's going to be a fun place to play. Like you said, this team that a year ago lost 12 of its last 13 games, this team that's basically the same kids, just took a legit national title contender to the final second. There's a lot to build off. Go win at Arkansas. Come back, take a shot against Kentucky. And I'm going to tell you, if you play like that on Tuesday night against Kentucky, you'll be in the game in the final 2 minutes. And then go beat Missouri, go to the SEC tournament, go to the NCAA tournament, take your shot, and when it's over, go, okay, there's your building block. And it's a much bigger building block than I thought it would be. The only way that deal goes bad now is if they go to Fayetteville and get beat, come back and get beat, and then you go to Missouri having to win, and then people are asking questions, and you're tight as a drum, and it's senior night in Missouri. This game Saturday is the biggest game they'll play. And I've said it for 2 weeks now. If they go win in Fayetteville, they're fine. If they lose in Fayetteville, things start getting tight, and you don't want that in the last week.
Yeah, I'm just looking at it right now. I think based on Warren Nolan, let's see, Arkansas, this could kind of matter. Arkansas, I believe, is somewhere in the 70s in net.
Yeah.
Let's see. Arkansas 73. So here's the other flip side.
That's quadrant one right now.
As of right now, yeah, that's an away game. That could be a quadrant one win.
If they win in Fayetteville, guys, they're going to the tournament.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I was going to say. I don't even know if it matters if they win in Missouri,
No.
I guess, because even the Missouri it'd be a quadrant two loss, but that's not going to, quadrant two loss isn't going to knock you down forever. Like, that's not something that the committee's going to look at and go, well, they didn't win at Missouri.
No, and Kermit said this last night, and he's right. This is the time of the year that the committee really starts getting locked in and watching a lot of basketball. And they watched Ole Miss-Tennessee last night. And if they did, if Ole Miss is, quote, bubbly, and I don't think they would be with another win, but let's just say they were for kicks.
Okay.
They'll remember that game and go, I saw Ole Miss play Tennessee. I saw what that team looked like.
Yeah, and on top of that, man, I think the only thing that can really hurt them in terms of bubbly and whatnot, I think you have to have the situation where, multiple conferences have the wrong team win the conference tournament.
Yeah.
Like they'd have to bump down pretty far, because it's not like on these projections that they're coming out as, an 11 and 12 seed. Like everyone kind of agrees this is somewhere between an 8 and a 9 seed. That's usually pretty darn safe.
Yeah, and I just think they're fine. I really do. I think they'll build on this. It's a tight team.
The bubble's bad.
The bubble's bad.
It is bad.
If there was ever a week for them to be distracted, it was this week, and they weren't. They were absolutely locked in last night.
What do you mean?
You want to go there? I'm probably going to go on a rant later on.
I'm going to go there.
National media. This is that deal, Jeffrey, and you and I talked about this sort of by, I guess, liking each other's tweets. The national media, here's my little lesson for everybody. You can't cover multiple teams and do it well. When I was in Mobile, I'll be quick with this. When I was in Mobile for 3 or 4 years, the Press Register had the brilliant idea of, okay, Neil, you're going to cover the Saints and you're going to cover the SEC as a whole, except for Alabama and Auburn. In other words, you've got 12 teams and the Saints. And what that means is you can't do it. And so these national people think they're going to come down for 2 days and get to the bottom of this story, where if they just would have read the local stuff, they would have known there wasn't a story. There wasn't a story. But once the New York Times gets on a plane and flies to Oxford, and once Ringer and ESPN and all of those people come to Oxford, coming down and then calling your bosses on Tuesday and going, hey, there's no story, that's not an option. So by God, what they do is they take their big mallet and they take the great big square peg and they just hammer that son of a bitch until it starts to crack the foundation enough to sort of awkwardly fit in the round hole.
Yeah, I mean, I just don't – listen. Dan Wolken, I guess I can't speak more, but case that he believes that Ole Miss consistently lied to him, and he believes that he got the story right the first time as it pertains to NCAA stuff, and then Ole Miss people said mean things and probably things that crossed the line to him on social media and on message boards. Well, I do at least know 2 of the 3 people on this conversation right now that would apply to, one being Neil and one being myself. Who, you know what I mean? Like, what do you mean, Dan? Like, what do you want? Like, does that mean that because of that, like, you can't apply context to a situation and make a reasonable assertion?
But in fairness to Wolken, I can't believe I said that. He wasn't here last night doing that.
No, I agree. Maybe because USA Today couldn't afford to send it.
Yeah, very possible. Gannett just couldn't afford it. But everybody's harping on that storyline. I told Chase this before the game, because Chase was like, "Man, all these national guys have been here all week," and I had talked to Ashoff down in the media room before things got started, and I told Ed, I said, "There's no story. There is no story." But what's happened
the only story would have been if they took a knee last night, then yes, there was a story.
Yeah, absolutely. But if you were around the program at all and you talked to anybody, you knew that they weren't. They weren't. They weren't taking a knee again. I talked to people. I would have bet any amount of, like, before the anthem got started. We're up there on the beat, and someone said, "What are they going to do? What do you think?" And we're putting play odds on it because sometimes beat writers do that. And I said, "I'll take any odds. They're not. No one's kneeling." And the moment they didn't, the story was dead. Because the moment they didn't, everything that local guys had written was true. And this is why people out there in podcast land, this is why you don't want homers covering your local beat, because they have no credibility and no one believes them. We wrote it. We've talked about it. We should have credibility. Maybe we don't. But if you read what we wrote, what we said, you knew they weren't kneeling. You knew the story was over, and you knew what the story was about.
You there?
Yeah, I can hear you now. Sorry.
Oh, no,
well,
it's
I
okay.
couldn't hear the last thing. I couldn't hear it.
What I said was, it's podcast. We don't have to be perfect. What I said was, if you had read us and listened to us, just our outlet alone, we're part of Yahoo and Oath and Verizon and whoever the hell we're part of. We told you what it was about. We reported it. We quoted people. Everyone said the same thing. If you read us and listened to us, you knew it was over. It was over on Saturday. But they didn't want to. They by God, it had to fit a national agenda.
And this is where it's a good look for media members, because it was actually a piece of news. There's a Confederate rally going on. As Neal, it took over the entire town, even though it was such a small number of people, a small fringe group that no one respected, but the atmosphere completely took over the town, and it was a direct response to that. And the fact that got completely lost, it's just not a good look for people in news, because the news was this event happened, therefore this event happened. That's news gathering. And I'm so sick of it. I'm so effing sick of it. Everything, the whole point of news was to, whatever happened to who, what, when, where, why.
Oh, it's gone.
Whatever happened to that?
It's gone. Look at the way that the Cohen thing was covered yesterday. I mean, it was covered from extremes. Literally, I can't find anyone mainstream covering the Cohen hearing yesterday where I came away from it with some sort of a perspective.
Not get super political, but I've been discussing this with both of you for now 2 years, and we're going on now 3. My biggest problem with the Trump presidency and whatnot, forget all the things he said. My biggest problem is I don't know, you can't find someone that covers this administration fairly. Everything is, he is Lucifer reincarnated. He is the worst thing that's ever happened to the United States of America, or he is the greatest thing that's ever happened to the United States of America. Make America great. There's no one that just goes, hey, this was a mistake. He got this right, or hey, the administration got this. You can't find anything. Everything is to the extreme. And so therefore, and you can look at my Twitter followers. I got plenty of people on all sides. That's how I'm trying to try and figure it out. I'm trying to take both of the extremes and figure out what the heck's in the middle and figure out that that's probably what happened. But God, it is just aggravating. I would love to hear an argument that says this is not the most annoying time to live in American history. Annoying. I'm not saying it's. Listen, we had a civil war. There's been plenty of other times that are way worse than this if you've read a history book, but this has to be the most annoying time to ever to live.
Yeah, I'll agree with that. What are you doing today, Jeff?
Today we have Reed Forgrave, the NBA draft, since the Grizzlies have now lost both a home and an away game to the Bulls. It's time to forget about getting into that 9 or 10 spot and conveying that pick to Boston. It's time to look at who have to be with the 7th pick coming up in June. Yeah, I'm tell you what, that's where franchises are made. Then we have Richard Deitch of The Athletic to discuss some more sports topics, I guess, in general. Really, AAF ratings, how viable is it, the reporting on the money situation there. I'm
interested.
Which I also find fascinating. So that's what we got coming up on our show.
Enjoy your day. I appreciate it.
All right, same deal.
Thanks to Jeffrey for joining us on this Thursday. Sorry about the audio. Had some cut-ins there. The internet's bad, I'll be honest. So that's what we are dealing with. But I think you got the scope of it, and we'll look to get better with that. So apologies if you had a little trouble during that part of the podcast today. A podcast is brought to you by Community Mortgage, Oxford, Memphis, Soto County, and Chattanooga, a leader in condo financing, as you know, and all underwriting and processing done in Memphis. You're getting local underwriting that understands your market. They also got the float down option. Getting the house buying time for the year allows you to lock in the current rate, but if rates go down before you close, you get that lower rate. 662-234-2704 or JLOWE@communitymtg.com.
Warm weather is on the horizon. With it comes the inevitable debate of sock or no sock with your loafers. So save your feet and your shoes from making their own impression and step into spring with some no-shows from Dead Soxy. You really need to experience the difference a quality sock makes. So go to deadsoxy.com, enter the code Rebel Grove at checkout to receive 30% off all orders, including sale items. These no-shows are the same quality you already love and enjoy with their traditional dress socks, and again, they come with their no-slip guarantee. So go to deadsoxy.com, check out their no-show collection, and remember to enter promo code Rebel Grove at checkout for 30% off all orders. My 10 observations from last night's game are up, and they are brought to you by Pinnacle Trust. Pinnacle Trust, based in Madison, Mississippi, has clients in 24 states, has advisors in 3. They provide detailed, specialized investment management, financial planning, retirement planning for individuals and businesses, and much more. What they do is they sit down with you individually. They don't try to put you in some sort of a pre-selected menu. They sit down, they talk to you regardless of your level of wealth, and they find out what your goals are, what your expenses are, what your dreams are, when you want to retire, what you want to do when you retire, how you want to spend your money, and then they come up with a plan that's just for you, not for anybody else, specifically for you. Pintrust.com, P-I-N-N Trust.com. Mention you heard about Pinnacle Trust on the podcast, and you'll get 10% off your first year's fee. My mailbag is up at rebelgrove.com. It's brought to you by the Westin Jackson. Check out Estelle Wine Bar and Bistro. Chase has been there. I've been there. It's fantastic. Get a creative craft cocktail. Enjoy their curated wine list. It's open for breakfast, lunch, dinner, and Sunday brunch. I challenge you to find a bad meal. We've tried all sorts of different things on the menu there. Everything is fantastic. Chef Caden knows exactly what he's doing. His mission is to connect guests with the community through local partnerships. So go to the Westin Jackson and gather at Estelle tonight.
Podcast also brought to you by Mastercuts Lawn and Landscape, 662-607-7773 to get a free quote, or you go to their website at mastercutslawn.com or send them an email at info@gomastercuts.com. They'll take care of all your normal maintenance for 2019, from mowing and edging and weed eating. But they'll do more than that, too. They'll plant trees. They'll put down pine straw. They'll take care of the flower beds or build something for you, from custom playgrounds to fences or decks or much more. So just find out what all they can help with. 662-607-7773. Yeah, Estelle also has a sneaky good liquor selection. If you look through the bottles, they have a few different options you won't find many place else. I've actually had some buddies tell me they've gone there and found some nice stuff. So anyway, they're that at Estelle, as you mentioned. I'll get back to basketball in a minute. I didn't want to pose this to you. So this is gaining some traction on the message board on Twitter. Baseball mailbag up this morning at rebelgrove.com. You can read that. Everything from pitching rotations to what's wrong with some dudes to what's Olynyk's status moving forward. Again, I asked for questions, right, as Olynyk was putting together a 1-2-3 inning with a team that hasn't pitched overly well. So I got a lot of those questions. But there's a lot there, including one that was more fun than anything else. I altered it a little bit to make it more interesting, and I'll ask Mr. McCready what he would do in this situation. Okay. So the question, as it came to me, was, let me find it. I'll just kind of take you through the whole process a little bit. Where is it? The internet is bad enough. It's taking me a second to get to some of these, but it's okay. We'll get there. I had one question. Do I have any eligibility left? I don't think I could help at this point. Not liking my chances, but let's see. Where is it? Here we go. Big Dog Saint 23 on Twitter.
Okay.
Says, if you could trade 2019 Dillard and 2019 Zabowski for 2007 Lance Lynn, would you do it? I changed this because to make it, you got to find the best pitcher possible to make this a decent comparison. So I switched it to 2010 Drew Pomeranz.
Okay.
Player that we mentioned yesterday. He lost the Golden Spikes Award by 1 point to Bryce Harper that year. So good company, if nothing else.
Can we not talk about him right now?
You don't want to talk about him?
Can we just move? Just.
I mean, in some ways, I don't think it's fair that a JUCO kid wins the Golden Spikes, but, Harper is pretty decent at baseball.
Stop.
So,
Every time you say his name,
a dove dies? Is that?
I feel a knife go straight into my heart.
Because really he's been trolling you guys for like 18 months when you look back on it.
Oh, it hurts so bad. I'm going to miss him so much, man. Oh.
Almost like you never had him.
The Bryce Harper Chicago era was so special.
So 2010 Drew Pomeranz. You could throw him on your roster right now.
Okay.
But you'd have to give up 2019 Thomas Dillard and 2019 Cole Zabowski, who was a first-team All-SEC selection at first base. What are you doing, Mr. McCready?
Okay, well, you'll have to help me here because you know the roster much better than I.
Yeah, that's fine.
Who are their replacements?
All right, so that is the question. That would be the question. And here's where we are with that. So this is, forget positions, but batting order-wise, here's kind of what we'd be able to put together.
Okay.
Now, your bench obviously would be fairly limited because your other question would be, and again, we're getting way too in the woods here, but I have 2 roster spots. Can I at least put, average replacement players in those spots to fill my void on players and pinch hitters and whatnot?
Yeah.
So I don't want to get down too much.
So you'd put guys with the perfectly level WRC plus.
The normal SEC player, whatever that is.
Okay.
Just give me some dudes.
Yeah.
Not 2 holes, just dudes.
Right.
So okay, here's your
average
team with
players.
Those guys.
Okay.
Cooper Johnson behind the plate.
Okay.
We'd move Tim Oko to first base.
Okay.
Jacob Adams would play second base, who did it all of last season, as you saw. Greg Kessinger would still be at shortstop. Tyler Kenyon would still be at third base.
Okay.
We'd have an outfield of left field Ryan Olenek, center field Anthony Servideo, and right field Chase Cockrell. We'd move Michael Fitzsimmons, who's done pretty well in small sample sizes, but we only have small sample sizes.
He'd be the DH.
To DH. Wouldn't have any bench, I don't know.
Well, you'd fill in the bench with the aforementioned.
And then your rotation would be Drew Pomeranz on Friday, Will Etheridge on Saturday, and Gunnar Hoagland on Sunday. Now, look, you're losing 2 bats. Arguably 2 of the 3 best bats are 2 best bats. Drew's going to win some games by himself on Friday night.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And he's going to let Etheridge go win games on Saturday.
By himself.
Right. Yes, I'd probably do it.
I said no, but I'm almost talking myself out of it the more I think about it and the longer it's gone.
Drew was so good that year that you almost knew you were going to get 7. Often you got 9.
See, that was the other part of this is he's an innings eater.
Yeah, he saves your bullpen for that Sunday game. Etheridge would be probably the best Saturday starter in the league.
You no doubt have the best 1-2 in the league.
It would let me go to Hoagland on Sunday probably almost every week with a very fresh pen.
And hand Houston Roth the ball as soon as he starts even thinking about screwing up.
Can you give me 4?
Yeah. Hey, max out. Let's just get what you get.
Yeah, go let it all hang out. Give me 4. I'll pat you on the bottom. I'll bring in Roth, and I'll have a fresh bullpen. Yeah, I'd do the deal.
I think Drew, too, this is one thing that I want to see with Etheridge a little bit because this is, again, kind of getting a little inside baseball and a little deeper, but in college I think this matters. I think teams pick up the attitude of your Friday night starter.
Yeah.
I think it changes the whole confidence level of your weekend depending on what that first guy's like.
Sure.
So I think Drew would elevate people around him, too, on the team.
Of course. You play with confidence.
Yeah. We're getting you tonight.
Yeah. We're running the horse out here tonight. We got you.
Yeah.
And the other team dreads playing you. Because Friday night's going to suck.
Because managers suddenly are over-managing going, well, shit, I got to.
Yeah. You get in their heads. Drew got in people's heads before the pitch ever got thrown.
Probably do it, don't you?
And I get to watch that interaction when Mike goes out again. And that was always fun. I love that. I got tickled almost every time. And Mike probably hates me for saying this.
Yeah, I laugh at it now. It's good.
But Drew's a tall guy, and Mike's not. And Mike would go out there, and Drew's standing on the mound. And The way that Drew stood on the mound, there was a certain "don't get up on my mound," even to Mike Bianco, and there was just a body language thing that cracked me up.
Well, a lot of pitchers will get off the mound and allow Mike to move or whatever, and Drew would not leave the mound. He stood on the mound.
He would stand there, almost literally on the rubber, looking down at him as if to say, "Why are you here, little man?"
We looked over him. He looked over the top of his cap is what he did. He just looked over his cap, and he had this smirk on his face like, "Just go away."
Why are you here? Don't you know who I am?
Yeah.
There's a part of me, especially at that point in his career when he'd been there a while. I'm sure Mike hates me for saying this. I would love to know what those conversations were.
So you'd do it.
I think I would do it.
You would do it.
I would not feel great about it, and I would worry that I didn't have enough offense to win a third game of a regional.
And it's a move that in the postseason helps more than even right now. They're going to hit their way to some wins and do some things, but just changes so many dynamics in the postseason.
It lets me get to a game 3 of a regional with a very fresh pitching staff. And knowing what I know now, a bulldog that I could hand the ball to on Tuesday or Monday or whatever if things got squirrely.
Oh, well, yeah. That's true. Because we're just talking about 1 year. We don't really care about his arm right now.
Well, he's the rare guy that
do it.
Yeah. He's not. That's why it would be him. Because at first when you said 2007 Lance Lynn, nothing against you, Lance. You've had a hell of a career, but my answer would have been no.
Yeah, no, it had to be. 2010 Pomeranz is the only pitcher I'm entertaining this thought with.
Yeah, Lance was very, very good at the college level, but Lance was not a sure thing every Friday night.
Mm-hmm.
Drew was.
He was a better innings eater than Drew, but that was it.
Yeah. And Lance was great. I'm not taking anything away from Lance.
He's pitching.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. But Dillard might be the best hitter in college baseball right now. So you're giving up a really good bat. And Zabowski's a very good player.
And you're taking a lot of protection away from Keenan.
Well, you're taking all of the protection away from Keenan.
Yeah. So it's not all one way or the other. I mean,
I would be concerned that I didn't have enough offense to win a Super Regional Game 3.
Yeah.
But I would feel a lot better about Super Regional Game 1.
Mm-hmm. And 2.
Yeah.
Because of the flip. Yeah. I don't know. Fun exercise. A lot there again.
Can you do that? Is that really Drew's not up for this out? Probably not.
I don't think so.
Okay.
Yeah. Because I mean, it's always the thing. Hey, if you could add one player to this team, what would it be? Well, I mean, it would be a pitcher. Need an arm.
Yeah.
But you got to give something up too. So. Because here's the thing to that. Any one-on-one trade, you're certainly doing that. There's no doubt. So it's got to be a more painful move.
Yeah, sure.
I mean, Pomeranz for Dillard by itself, I'm doing it. Yeah, okay, fine. I'll figure it out.
Yeah.
So, hopefully not for his sake, but Thomas could sprain an ankle tomorrow for 3 weeks anyway. So,
well, Drew and guys like David Price and people like that, when they were the Friday night starters on staffs like that, it was difference makers.
See, no real Ole Miss presence on the front of ESPN.com. Probably would have been different had there been given another answer last night.
Had they knelt. They had to do something.
Yeah. Instead, LeBron's on the front page.
Yeah.
For beating the Pelicans last night. Tough deal. I love the recency bias a little bit because, like I said, there's no wrong answer, but on Twitter, everybody's like, no, got to have Dillard. It's like, well, I get we like Thomas. I understand. I'm just trying to play the whole game out here a little bit. It's, if Drew was pitching for you right now, you'd be like, no, you can't have him.
Yeah.
Can't get him guy.
No, oh, God.
So, anyway. All right. Arkansas on Saturday. We'll close here.
Okay.
Razorbacks coming off a pretty tough one themselves. They are
a brutal
the Kentucky game that they were up by double digits in the second half. Ended up losing by 4. Again, a little officiating there at the end, becoming a topic as well.
Yeah, Mike Anderson was not sending happy notes to officials yesterday either.
Who's in the better mindset in Saturday's game, the Rebels or the Razorbacks, and what do you expect?
I think the Rebels are. I think last night was hard. This team's been pretty resilient. They'll get together today to practice, and the message Kermit Davis is going to have for them is you should have no doubts now about who you are. There aren't 5 teams in the country better than Tennessee. And you can play with them. Go, show up, take care of business, win a game, and let's go into the last week and see what happens. That'd be my message. I think that they'll go up and play. I think they're actually getting better. I wrote this in observations last night. I thought Bruce Stevens was really good last night. He's becoming more consistently that way. And then if I'm Ole Miss, I'm just thrilled with what I'm getting out of my freshmen. It looks like Henson's coming over the wall. I've always liked what you get from Buffin. I think they'll play motivated basketball. I think it's a close team. I think they win in Fayetteville. I've thought it for weeks. I think they win in Fayetteville. I'm not convinced it's a particularly close game.
Elsewhere last night, and good news for Ole Miss, Auburn just barely survived in Athens, beating the Georgia
Did you see any of that?
78-75. I did not see a second of it.
I got home and turned it on as I was writing. They tried to give it away. Oh, my God, they tried.
And then Florida blistered Vanderbilt in Nashville.
Florida's playing pretty well right now.
Yeah. So, anyway, plenty more. We'll have a podcast tomorrow. Probably not the length you're accustomed to, as
It'll be tight.
yeah. So we'll discuss that and more on tomorrow. Check rubbergrub.com. A lot of content again: baseball, basketball, football, the works. More of all that coming. So go to the site. Talk to you tomorrow.